Hi there, and welcome to Canceling COVID on this Tuesday. Hopefully, you're off to a great start for your day. I appreciate you tuning in. We meet every Tuesday about this time to talk about what's happening in our community. Of course, our goal is to keep you informed, empowered, and to have a conversation about COVID. And yes, we're still dealing with this pandemic. Dr. Trasha Black, who will be joining us shortly, educated us on the whole fact that experts are moving now to call this an endemic. I feel like I'm empowered and understand the difference, and I appreciate her. She'll be on in just a moment, letting us know that the whole idea around this is, of course, as an endemic, we have a better idea of managing it. Just like the flu, no one went to expect it and offering the vaccines. And that's really exciting news. I always try to start with at least an update. But before we do that, we have to acknowledge our sponsors because we're very grateful for their support. Without them, we would not be able to come every week. Mecklenburg County Public Health, mecnc.gov, 980-314-9400, 980-314-9400. Mecklenburg County Public Health, we say thank you. And also Groundwater Solutions, groundwater-solutions.org, 704-596-0505. Now, let's take a look at the update on the latest numbers here in North Carolina. And just to remind you that we're still at this, folks. People are still being impacted. So as of yesterday, 528 newly reported cases. This is according to the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. 1,140 people are currently hospitalized, and our total number of deaths, 22,802 total deaths in the state of North Carolina. Now, 3.9% of a daily positive rate. That percent is such a great turnaround from what we were dealing with. So that's encouraging. And here's some other encouraging news. 71% of the adult population has been vaccinated with at least one dose. 71% of the adult population. So those are some pretty good numbers as well. If my math is right, that's about 7 out of 10. I know that's pretty easy, but I have to be careful because when it comes to numbers, it is just not my thing. So let me correct myself too, because I want to make sure 71% with two doses or one dose of Johnson and Johnson, 71%. And the number is even higher, 76% rather, adult population vaccinated with at least one dose. And why is this so funny to me? Because as people in journalism, we run from math and numbers and all that because it's intimidating. I'll be totally honest with you. But enough about that. Let's jump into the conversation. I've got joining me Dr. Trasha Black of Groundwater Solutions. It's always great to have her here. Always great to have conversation. And I just appreciate you. So good morning.
Good morning. I'm wonderful. Great to be here as well.
Oh
Always.
gosh, I appreciate you oh so much and keeping me informed and updated and all that great stuff. So let's talk about what you guys are seeing today. And then we're going to talk about something else. But I just love checking in with you because you have the pulse of what's happening in the community. And not a lot of people can say that.
So I think here for us, COVID-19, the actual contractions and numbers that we're seeing are pretty low. I think what we deal with most is the aftermath. I think I
It's
mentioned
canceling COVID. It's always great to
forgive me
join.
for that.
Sorry.
That's okay.
All right, there we go. We're going to get to Reverend David Judge in just a moment, everyone. But now Dr. Trasha Black sits over here doing too many things. There you go.
I know. You're doing great.
Oh, well, thank
I
you.
don't envy you.
We're here producing and talking.
Fear of numbers, that might be your fear. My fears of electronics and technology, because I couldn't do it. So,
Oh, I got you. So what are you guys seeing today?
So, like I said, the numbers are pretty low. Those numbers are outstanding. The statistics that you gave earlier. So we are thrilled that our lab is quiet on the COVID side, COVID-19. As I was saying, we deal more with the aftermath now. I think with COVID-19 moving toward becoming an endemic disease as opposed to a pandemic, which I do believe soon we'll move to that place where the government is now saying it's an endemic, but because if it's more endemic, we're dealing with the aftermath of the pandemic. So my day-to-day now is really focused more on the healthcare, mental health side, and the wellness for our families.
So, the whole mental health piece keeps coming up and we're reading about it. You are an expert in this field. So, what is it going to take to get more people to just start being more transparent about dealing with this? Because nobody can say it's been easy.
Right. It hasn't
No.
been easy, and it has taken a toll on all of us.
Amen.
So COVID-19 was something we never imagined,
Right.
and what it did to our lives, the things that it woke up in our community, we've changed.
Yes.
And some of us are not dealing well with it. It's brought up stuff for us. So I think we have to talk about it more. We have to have conversations like this where folks can be real about how they're experiencing life. You know, some of the things that we experienced brought stuff up from our childhood,
Yeah.
feeling lonely and isolated. Our children are struggling now in schools and in their relationships and in the community. And so it's bringing up stuff for everybody who's connected to us. And so we just need to be real about what we've taken away, how we're struggling, how we may still be struggling because of the experiences that we've had over the last couple of years.
So I've made a commitment to make mental health and therapy a regular part of my everyday conversation, just when talking with people, and trying not
Mhm.
to say, "Oh, that person's crazy," or this or that, not taking that lightly, because I think as a community, as a people, we've just kind of flipped it off if someone's a little bit different. But I've challenged myself to stop saying that and to
Mhm.
really look and see if someone is dealing with something and possibly need therapy. And I'm by no means an expert on that, but you are.
Right. Well, I
Are there?
think what you're saying is you're normalizing it.
Okay.
And what we think of, we've got this huge stigma across the spectrum for mental health, but especially in communities with Black and brown people.
Uh-huh.
We've got family members and we just say, oh, they're off, or they, the infamous, I talked to my mom about it, having a nervous breakdown. That's
Yeah.
what I used to hear when I was a little girl. Oh, she had a nervous breakdown, or
Mhm.
he broke down and now he's in the hospital, or he's seeing a
Yeah.
therapist. I knew as a child, it terrified me. I said, I never want to have one of those. But
Yeah.
we all have little breakdowns all the time,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
life is difficult. Life has challenges. And so we've got to name it for what it is. It
Mhm.
is a mental health. And we all have mental health. If you have a brain, you have mental health. And we've
So
got to take care of it.
so as a profession and as a professional, are there any additional steps that are being taken to, because of the aftermath of COVID, to start working with people about their mental fitness and mental wellness?
Yes, there is some efforts around. Again, in our organization, we are seeking funding at the state level to change over the mobile process that we use for COVID-19, to take those same strategies right into the community and address mental health workers. The state has brought in community health workers. That's a new profession, and I've talked to you guys about that before on the show. But there are what's called community health workers that live and work in the communities, that went out to tell people about COVID, to say, let's get tested, let's get vaccinated. And we're asking that those community health workers, the focus shift, and the same effort that we put into COVID-19, that we put into wellness in our community, mental health, physical health, screenings, food and nutrition, that we take that same energy and those same dollars, that are a lot of dollars, are still sitting there for COVID-19 and the CARES Act. So we want to use that same funding because COVID is still out there. But
Yeah.
at the same time, we're going to introduce other areas of wellness and fitness that our people are desperately in need of.
And I love that you mentioned the whole issue of physical health.
Mhm,
That piece right there, if anything, and I try to look at the glass
mhm,
half full. This whole silver lining, the
mhm,
issue of health disparities,
mhm,
just exposed all the way down to
mhm,
just
mhm,
you name it.
mhm,
And now a community that should be focusing more on, how do I live a healthier lifestyle? I just
mhm,
commented this morning, and when I see someone that's smoking and drinking, I'm
mhm.
like, do they not realize they're kind of, you know,
Right.
causing themselves to be headed straight to an early grave, but there's the whole issue of obesity. We've got high
Mhm,
blood pressure,
mhm,
you name
mhm.
it, heart disease, all
Yeah.
those things impacting our community more and more.
Mhm.
There are some efforts now as a part of the aftermath to try to educate the community, you're saying?
Exactly. I think, we have some things to be thankful for COVID-19 for, because
Mhm.
it brought all of those things to the light, the health disparities. And part of the health disparities have to do with structural things, structural inequality in our systems, in our healthcare systems, in food distribution, in many other areas. So it's brought that to light so we can talk about that. But we also know that we, people of color, were disproportionately impacted because we are disproportionately more unhealthy. We have lifestyle factors that we've got to address. And so I'm thankful that we are able to now talk about these things. We knew then during COVID-19, you needed to lose weight. You needed to eat better. You needed to add vitamins and minerals to our diet. So we need to get our high blood pressure and our diabetes under control,
Right.
or work to not have those issues. So I think all of that has come to the light where we can't ignore it anymore. And so we're dealing with those things. And my goal and our hope is that the government will put the funding behind it to help us in this fight.
Prayerfully, they will as well. And I put a question in the chat. I see those of you hopping on, and feel free to share this conversation. Feel
Mhm.
free to respond to my question, which is, have you made any changes to your diet as a result of COVID? As we
Mhm.
wrap things up, Dr. Black, I want to ask you that. Have you made any changes besides the vitamins? Have you made any other changes?
Absolutely. I definitely am more aware of what I put in my body. I'm more aware of how I spend my time, on what's most important. And I'm constantly, not that I wasn't talking to people about health and wellness before, but
Mhm.
I believe I have a new kind of vigilance around that. And during COVID-19, I'm telling folks this is life and death. But
Yeah.
even though now we're moved to an endemic, it's
Mhm.
still life and death that we can live better and we need to live better. So, and I'm going to take your question a little bit further, is not just to your diet, but what changes have you made overall
Yeah.
because of COVID-19? And if you haven't, then I'm going to challenge you to take a really good look at your life, your environment, everything around you to determine whether or not you're satisfied at living at that level. Most of us, all of us, have areas we can improve on, and
Yes.
I think how we treat ourselves, and that includes eating, that includes exercise, that includes our mental wellness. So I would say I take better care of my mental health now. I realize the stressors and taking care of hundreds of people and what that takes on my body. And so I take better care of myself, giving myself time, putting myself up there on, at the top of the totem pole, just like I do everybody else.
That's very good, and I'm glad that you made the point beyond just your diet, because if people we survived.
Mhm,
We have survived, and for
mhm,
that, you should just be thankful and
mhm,
grateful and learn from that experience, which is what you have shared. And for me, I think I've learned more than ever now to just dismiss things and not let it worry me, bother me.
mhm,
I've been
mhm,
able to focus in on what's really important, and
mhm,
if someone
mhm,
has an issue, I don't get caught up in it. I just
mhm,
remove
mhm,
myself and move
mhm,
on, and that's a big accomplishment for
mhm,
me. In
mhm,
addition to that, the diet piece, same here. I'm not, and I've always been a picky eater, so that wasn't my
mhm,
issue. But I
mhm,
probably more than anything, just eating, drinking more water,
mhm.
focusing on that for my better health and well-being. So as we wrap things up, because I could talk to you all day, and
I
I know
know.
everyone enjoys the conversation. What's happening? What's new? Anything else that you would like to share before you sign off?
I know. We are starting some new services. Everybody says, Dr. Black, you're always doing something. But we have community support team and a new substance abuse program. Well, it's not new. Before COVID-19, we were having substance abuse groups and mental health groups in our office, serving lunches every day for folks. So we are resuming groups during the
Mhm.
month of April. So we're
Great.
really excited about that.
Good, good stuff. And I've got your information up to get in touch, groundwater-solutions.org,
Mm.
704-596-0505. Hey, Dr. Black, you guys still got job opportunities as
We
well?
still have job opportunities. Absolutely. We are
Okay.
hiring the community health workers, peer support specialists, and those are folks with lived experiences with depression, anxiety, any mental health or addictive issue. We are also hiring licensed clinicians. So if you're finishing school and getting your master's degree in
Mhm.
a counseling related or social work field, call us. We're also hiring qualified professionals for behavioral health. So if you have worked in the field before and you want to be in a place where you feel valued and you are really making an impact, call us 704-596-0505.
Dr. Trasha Black of Groundwater Solutions, thank you so much. We're so
Thank
grateful for
you.
all that you do to serve our community, and thank you for taking the time to join us.
You're welcome.
All
Bye.
right. You have a great week. Hey, guys, great conversation. Always great information as we continue to deal with. I love the conversation. Even though we've made it to the other side of COVID, we still have information and just great conversation about what's next and how do we deal with that. And with that said, you probably saw earlier as I kind of hit the wrong thing. And boy, you can never be prepared enough. I had an opportunity to speak with Reverend David Judge of First Baptist Church of Cornelius. And here's the conversation. We pre-recorded the conversation because technology allows us to, but also because he had another meeting. So here is my conversation with Reverend David Judge of First Baptist Church of Cornelius on this Tuesday. And it's even better as I get out and about and get to know all of the servants working in the community, just doing great things to make sure that you are informed and aware of we're still in a pandemic. Of course, they're working to change it to an endemic. Explain to me something as like the flu, where there's a better grasp on when we'll be impacted by it and the vaccines available at that time. It's science at work, but I'm so grateful to have Reverend David Judge. He's the pastor of First Baptist Church of Cornelius joining me. And first of all, let me say good morning and thank you for taking the time to join us.
Hey, good morning, Tanya, and thank you for having me this morning.
Absolutely. So you've been working, First Baptist and Cornelius, a fixture like a lot of our ministries in the community, churches that are constantly working and serving others, which I'm so grateful for. But one of the things, of course, you all, and we'll get into that in just a moment, leading efforts around COVID and empowering our community to be educated and informed. And I just want to jump right in and talk about the mask mandates. Recently in Mecklenburg County, they've been dropped. And just kind of asking, how have you all been able to navigate that and deal with the whole back and forth about mask on or mask off?
Well, in the church, it's been no different than in the general society. There have been those who are opposed to the masks or those who have been in favor of the masks. And so we had the same thing here at the church. And so we tried to do our best to balance those needs and concerns. We had mask optional at first before the mandate started, and we tried mask seating and unmasked seating, and that seemed to work for a while. When the mask mandate did come out, we did comply with the mandate, and so we required masks in the sanctuary. That caused some people not to show up for church, and so it hurt our attendance for the time since I guess it was August when it started as a mandate. Now that the mandate has been lifted, we're looking forward to those folks returning. And so we're very optimistic about 2022.
So what kind of other adjustments, or were there any others that you had to make around COVID? And we're coming out, thank God we're seeing the light, but there obviously quite an impact on ministries, every aspect of our lives. There's nothing that was excluded. But were there any other adjustments that you had to make?
We had to make the typical adjustments that everybody had to make, the masks, the hand sanitizing, the social distancing, and so forth. Our first priority, obviously, was the health of the congregation and the visitors who come. But as far as ministry is concerned, we were very busy through 2020, 2021. We had 3 vaccination clinics, and they went very well. And then we just 6 weeks ago started COVID testing, free COVID testing here at the church, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 9 to 4. It is drive up. There's no waiting, and you can get a free COVID test. So from a ministry perspective, we've used it as an opportunity to reach and serve the community.
Let's talk about the testing. I know you launched it, and thank you for that. I've got one of my weekly guests and the sponsor of the show, Groundwater Solutions, Dr. Trasha Black. She said from day one, testing is key. Testing should always be at the forefront of this battle, because knowing is obviously empowering you to understand what to do. So you launched this testing, and it's continuing. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, it's actually continuing today. And as I said, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and we'll continue into the foreseeable future. I spoke with the county representative yesterday, and they said so long as the state is telling them to keep doing the testing, they will keep doing the testing. It's not affecting our operations. They're out in our parking lot. And so we're happy to host them and, again, provide this free service to the community.
So what are the hours, and it's open to anyone?
Open to anyone from 9 to 4, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Who are the people that you're seeing? Are these people that are preparing to go out of town? Are they on vacation, going to visit family? Just everyday workers coming every day? Anybody just to get tested to stay on top of everything?
I think it's just anybody and everybody who has the need for the testing. The testing has really slowed down significantly. When we first opened the very first day, we had 80 people come through. Some days recently, it's been as low as a dozen. But we're going to keep doing it because so long as there's a need, and as you said earlier, testing is key to bringing this pandemic to an end.
Well, we're grateful that you all, Reverend, have taken the lead on this. And Cornelius, clearly a small town, but it's just off exit 28. Anyone's welcome to stop by and get testing. And not to downplay how the area has really taken off in growth. You've been at First Baptist for a little while now. I'm, if you're like me, you've been blown away at how the area just continues to just grow and grow even more. This whole COVID thing clearly has had an impact and has led to a lot of other concerns as well. And we've had conversations around the homeless community, around finances, around education. I mean, we name it. And what is kind of your observation of COVID and the toll that it's taken? And are you seeing a spike in requests for mental health counseling?
We're seeing a spike in requests predominantly for affordable housing. The folks who had been receiving stimulus checks and unemployment increases are now no longer receiving those. And so housing insecurity is probably the biggest thing that we are getting requests for. Assistance for housing, or help me find a house that I can afford here in Cornelius. I work here. I would like to live here. And that's just not practical for most people or affordable. Food insecurity, health concerns, we see the whole gamut. And it's all been exacerbated by COVID.
And you all have a pretty strong and powerful outreach. I appreciate, even with the budget for the town of Cornelius. I've attended some of the meetings talking about the Smithville revitalization plan. You're just like kind of that epicenter that has opened their doors. Not that other churches aren't, but I admire the work that you all have done. What are some of the other outreach, or are there any outreach events that you would like to uplift as we start to close out?
So this Thursday, March 10th, we're having a blood drive here at the church, American Red Cross. We do that every few months. So that is from 10 to 2:30. So anybody can come out and give blood. At the end of the month, March 26th, we, along with Smithville Community Coalition, the Catawba North Group, the Police Department, and Waste Pro, we are going to be doing a curbside cleanup here in Old Town Cornelius, where we're going to encourage people who have bulk trash items, either in their front yard or in their homes, to bring it out to the curb. And then volunteers will go throughout Old Town Cornelius, load those bulk items onto a trailer or a truck, and then we'll have dumpsters located strategically throughout Old Town Cornelius where folks can bring their trash, or we will dump the trash. So we will be cleaning up Cornelius on Saturday, March 26th from 8 to 12.
Oh, those are some great events, great outreach events. And that's, again, I appreciate all that you all in your ministry continue to do to serve the citizens, not just of Cornelius, but of Mecklenburg County. So as we wrap things up, Reverend David Judge, again, First Baptist Church of Cornelius, taking the time to talk with us. For those that are hurting and looking for some type of encouragement, because we are all just tired of COVID. But again, we've got a little bit of light here on this International Women's Day. I have to uplift that. But is there anything you would like to leave with someone listening that possibly or watching, feeling really, really just fed up and trying to just need some encouragement?
Yeah, we as a church recently subscribed to a service called Glue Connect. And what it is when someone in the past had a personal mental health problem or family problem, they would take that to their pastor, to the church. But now that there are so many unchurched people, the one they go to for answers is Google. And so people will Google, I'm depressed, I'm having trouble with my marriage or whatnot. So this service actually takes that Google search and sends the people to the church.
Oh,
And
my.
so I have been receiving at least 2 to 3 people every week who are unchurched and have sadness, relationship problems, depression, addiction, those sorts of things. And I guess my message would be for those who particularly are unchurched, the church is here for you. You are not alone. We are here. We love you. We want to serve you and help you through this trying time. And so don't be afraid to come and visit your local church and accept the love of Jesus Christ. That's what we're here for.
Amen. Reverend Judge, I love that. And it's called Glue Connect.
Blue Connect. Mm-hmm.
Wow, some exciting stuff. Again, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. Again, Reverend David Judge, First Baptist Church of Cornelius, and just innovative idea. I would have never even thought of that, and you're spot on. That's where people are going to get their information. So I thank you. I appreciate you, sir, for all that you do.
Thank you, and God bless you.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
So, Reverend David Judge, taking the time, and great way to wrap up this episode of Canceling COVID. We're still forcing ourselves upon you, moving ahead every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Our time is up. As always, life's challenges make you better, not bitter. I'm so grateful for the work of First Baptist Church of Cornelius, as well as Groundwater Solutions. Thank you to Dr. Trasha Black. We want to say thank you also to our sponsors each and every week. Groundwater Solutions, groundwater-solutions.org, 704-596-0505. And of course, Mecklenburg County Public Health, that is, mecnc.gov, 980-314-9400. Hey, we've had some great weather, rain moving in the area, but make sure you make it a great day. Always remember to check on your neighbor. And I'll be listening for you on this Saturday. Sounds of Inspiration on Praise 100.9 FM. I ask that you join me, tune in, Praise 100.9 FM on the dial. Have a great week and be safe, be alert. And most of all, I appreciate your support of Canceling COVID. Let them know we're here. Share this conversation. It's always great information that we look to get out to the community. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And I'll see you back again on next Tuesday. Be safe.